Hey, so on today's episode of The Becomings, right, we are still doing our inner one studies. We are learning to control our power, to have better control of our power so that we can have a better quality of life on purpose, so that we can have the life that God, that Source, has ordained for us or has intended for us to have from birth. Okay, we are not leaving that power up to anybody else. We are taking control of that power. So today what I want to talk about is abuse, being in abusive situations. Okay, and now men and women, right, end up in abusive situations. It is possible for men to be abused too. Men have been abused too. But because this is Women's Month, I'm talking to my sisters, okay? But if it applies, it applies, okay? So, abuse. Now, what is that thing? What is that key? What is that little oomph that snaps in your mind when you finally realize, I need to take this back, I need to get out? What is that thing? And I was thinking about this. My neighbors are in an abusive situation, and without going into too many details, there was an incident last night that my daughter and I overheard. So today I was talking about it. One of the things that she said was, either you have to hit rock bottom or you have to find another person, come across another situation that is better, right, to make you realize that you don't want to be in it. And what she said was, this is what she's noticed from watching movies. Okay, so as I'm trying to think about my situation, my past situation, what was my personal experience, and what was that thing that helped me to get out of that situation, right? Okay. And then fast forward, I was just talking to one of my best friends, and we was talking about this. She had also been in abusive relationships, and she gave some really good insight. So, okay, so let me just start with my experience, right? For me, the thing was, now I'm not sure if you can say like I hit rock bottom, if I was like whatever the worst of the worst was, but I had to protect my children. So I got him out of the house and kept him away from my children. But to be honest, I was still going back for at least close to another year after, I kicked him out the house. And things weren't getting any better. It was the same old. The better part for me was that I didn't have to sleep in a bed with him. I didn't have to stay there with him after he was raging and going off and all of this stuff, the mind manipulation and everything. I got to go home afterwards. So I had a bit of separation, right? Which allowed me more time to think, right? And now, one of the things that I know helped me, a friend that I was working with, she used to say, and now this is a friend who happened to have gone to elementary school with him. So knew him, when he was little, when he was a kid, which they say like that is when we are at our purest, right? So she knew who he was. And I took that with his stories over his life and the things that he experienced, and my new research and studies looking into narcissism and narcissistic abuse. And what kept playing in my mind was what she would say, if a man promises to marry you, just wait, he will. If a man promises to hit you, just wait, he will. And he kept threatening abuse. He kept saying things Like, for instance, if I didn't agree, if he tried to say that some instance happened that I know didn't happen, or he tried to change the way it happened, or if I brought up something and I'm like, this is how this made me feel, he would pretty much just deny my reality, say it didn't happen, say that I was crazy or something like that. And if I didn't go along with it, he would go off and he would threaten to hit me. He never actually hit me. The day that I left him for good and did not look back, he pushed me. He was recreating the story that I know did not happen. He said that we was in the house by ourselves, but he was yelling as if maybe there was somebody in the back or somebody that he wanted to hear this. And I couldn't understand that. I just felt like I was in Twilight Zone. I said it didn't happen. He pushed me and I said, okay, thank you. And that was it. And I turned away. Now, to fast forward and to make this more clear, because just that alone, I didn't quite get it until I talked to my best friend. And she shared with me that in her experience, the thing that helped her was confidence. Is when she finally built up her confidence or leaned in on her confidence. Because sometimes we don't feel confident in ourselves. We don't feel confident that we know that we know. We don't feel confident that we could make it without that person. We don't feel confident that we'll find love again, or even that we deserve love. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of these things could be playing in our mind. We don't feel confident that we're making the right choice to walk away, because oftentimes what ends up happening is we know that we shouldn't be in those situations. We know it doesn't feel good and that's it. But we don't want to let go because we don't want to admit that we were wrong. We don't have the confidence that we are making the right choice now to walk away. So then we end up having this internal debate, right? And we end up gaslighting ourselves, which then brings me to Dr. Romney. When I'm listening to her, she talks about radical acceptance, right? Radical acceptance. And now that is just the ability to accept the nature of a thing, throughout, without excuses, right? Without second guesses, without just accepting that it is what it is. Right? No maybe, no what if, no, maybe I could change something, maybe I could do something to make that person change. You can only control yourself. You cannot control another person. Nothing that you would do, no cleaning, no cooking, no way that you could say it, no time of day that you could say it. Nothing that you could do can make that person not be abusive towards you, right? So you just have to accept that they are what they are, that you are in an abusive relationship and that you need to get out. You have to have that confidence in yourself. Now, the next thing is what builds that confidence, okay? Validation helps, right? So you have a friend, you have some people who are close to you that can confirm, right? Lots of confirmation. To me is the same thing as validation, right? Confirm that those things that you know to be true are true, right? To kind of back you up, because the opposite happens. The things that you know are true, something comes along and tells you, whether it's internal, whether it's that abuser, whether it's, one of that abuser's flying monkeys, they'll come and they'll reinforce the lie, right? So you may need help with just reinforcing the truth, right? You know that you can do better without this person. You know that you'll be stronger, that you'll be happier, that you'll be healthier, that you'll be able to show up better in relationships with your kids and with other people. And many times they would try to separate you from other people for that very reason, because those people help to boost that confidence in you. And then one of the things that my friend brought up was that, her daughter has that confidence. And we are so grateful for that. But she didn't have that confidence when she was younger. And I had to think about that. Like, my daughter has a certain level of confidence that I didn't have when I was her age. You know, as confident as I want to say I was and stuff like that, you know, it wasn't real confidence. It was a lot of push through. Okay, y'all, my video cut off, so I had to go and delete some apps and come back. So a lot of times we know that that person is not for us. A lot of times we know these things, yet we tell ourselves the lie. So we have to have confidence. So it's the confidence, right? And radical acceptance, right? Like just radically accepting your situation, right? And now, how do you build the confidence, right? Because if you don't have it, you don't have it. If you don't have confidence, then you don't even have the confidence to build the confidence, right? So what are some of the things? Now, some of the things that's helped me, thank God, over just even this past year, right? Because I wasn't very confident, even though it was about 3 years or so since I left my ex, and I've been single ever since. I've dated here and there, but I've been single, you know, for the past 3 years or so. And I did not have the confidence that I wouldn't end up in a similar relationship. Y'all, girl, I was terrified, okay? I was terrified. I started feeling like it was narcissists everywhere. Like it was people that had the potential to put me right back in that same place, right? So I was very, very, very guarded. And I honestly, I am still quite a bit guarded. But the thing that gives me the confidence, what gave me the confidence, was I was put in situations where I had to trust myself, where I had to just do it, right? And the big thing is a business. Even building this business, going out on a limb, you know, with Hemp Paradise Farm, with Lifted Life. This is something that I hadn't seen before. And even doing these entrepreneurship classes, these mentorships, I just hadn't seen these even within these mentorships. So I've had to take the basics and the pieces and figure out how to apply it, you know? And the more I meditated and prayed on it, the more resources, the more clues and things that Source was sending my way. So I just decided to just go for certain things, right? And the more I do it, the more I just take leaps, the more I just take steps, the more confidence I have in myself. I can even use these videos as an example. Just last year, I wasn't this confident in front of the camera. And that's a huge part. Now, the main thing, and I still, you know, believe you really don't have to have your face out there, don't have to be a personal brand in order for it to be a very successful brand, in order for people to see that there is quality and that there is efficacy and things like that in the product, and that it actually works for them. But God just had me go in a whole different direction. And I needed to do this for me because I was hiding behind my trauma. I was hiding behind the experiences that I had, so I didn't have to show my face. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about trauma from childhood, you know, and every other situation that added on to it up until, you know, now. I was hiding behind that. But the Lord put me in situations where I could no longer hide behind it. I had to actually like just do it, you know? So I had to make up in my mind and just do it. And I didn't have the confidence right away. But confidence is building as I go. You know, confidence is building along the way. I feel like each video I get more and more confident. And now I'm talking like I've just been doing this for years and years, because I feel like I'm getting, you know, pro at this, right? Yes. But each video, I'm still having to hype myself up. And then I have to remind myself not to think about it as much. Like, just do it. Don't think about it. Because once you decide, once you get it and you decide and you know that it's good for you, and then you have to go back and think. Then you start thinking in reverse. Then you start talking yourself out of it. And that is the point where you're overthinking, right? Thinking about something a lot is not overthinking. Sometimes you have to sit and ponder on a thing. Sometimes you have to sit and contemplate. You got to break it down. And sometimes that takes time. The point when you're overthinking is when your thinking starts going in reverse. When you've made a good decision, when you set on it and you know that is right, but then you start talking yourself out of it. You start talking yourself into a different situation. Or you know that something is wrong for you. You know that you need to get out of it. Right? You're thinking about it. You're experiencing these things. You know that it's an abusive situation. You know it doesn't feel good. You know you need to leave a better example for your kids. You know that you don't want to birth kids into this situation. You know you need to go, but then you start talking yourself back in. Maybe next time. He apologized. You know what I'm saying? He didn't mean it. He was just upset. It's the drug. He was just drunk. He didn't mean it. He's just stressed out. There's a lot going on. He got a lot of pressure on him. Ain't none of that a good reason to be abusive. There is no good reason for anyone to abuse you or to treat you like that. There is no good reason. Okay? If you're that horrible where you deserve someone to hit you, to gaslight you, to manipulate you, to abase you, to make you feel like you are less than, to put you down, then they need to just leave, right? Yes, absolutely. And if they insist on staying and doing that, you need to leave, right? It takes two to enter into a relationship. It takes two to agree in order for it to be on. It only takes one to leave, right? So fuck you, I'm gone. You need to have that confidence. So, radical acceptance, because everybody can't just get out like that. Start building the confidence by start doing little things for yourself. Start challenging yourself, right? Even if in the smallest way, right? So, let's say you used to write. Challenge yourself to start writing again. That'll help you build confidence. You used to sew. You did hair. All the things that you love to do that you stopped doing because of this abusive relationship, whether they told you directly don't do it, or whether they talked you out of it, they belittled you because of it, or even if just because your confidence is low, just because you're not feeling like yourself, that's depression. And depression will make you not want to do the things that you once loved to do. You just don't have the energy to do it. Go back to those things. Do those things. It will help you build your confidence, right? Lean into the things that you are good at, the things that you love, the things that make you happy, right? It'll build your confidence. It'll make you stronger. It'll help you to realize, I deserve to have the best life. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be with someone who loves and respects me, who cherishes me, right? Truly, not just through the love bombs, but who truly loves me, right? Yes, sis, this is your N of one. This is you taking back control of your power to be whole, your power to be happy, your power to be loved, your power to be in the relationship and with the person that you truly deserve, okay? And you deserve the best. I want the best for you. You want the best for yourself, okay? Radical acceptance. N of one. Take back control of your power. They don't deserve it. Don't give it to them, okay? Take that shit back. You got this. I believe in you. You got this, okay? You can do it. You can make it. You was holding it down anyway while dealing with that mess. Imagine how much greater you'll be for your kids, free from it. Peace. I love you. Take back control of your power.